Another journalist hangout show. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, today on the program, APC, we can tell you, wins 15 states, PDP 8, and the NNPP 1, just as PDP's Dauda Lawal defeats Governor Matawale in big Zamfara upset. Now, I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, BKO. I greet you, BKO.
I greet you, Citizen.
And of course, there's a Ghanaian, Kayode Balogun, GKB, we call him.
Good evening, Citizen.
All right. So the team is ready. I hope you are. Now, prior to the March 18 governorship election, 28 seats were in contention. And after the results, the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, nicked 15 states, the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, 8, and the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, 1. Results from 4 states are still being awaited. Perhaps a major upset in the exercise is the Zamfara state governorship poll, where the opposition PDP defeated the incumbent Mohammed Bello Matawale of the ruling APC. PDP's Dauda Lawal defeated the sitting governor with a vote of 377,726 votes to Matawale's 311,976 votes. This is incumbency gone wrong, Jide.
Yes, not many people voted PDP, always voted APP, and then ANPP, and then APC. Even when Sokoto, that they used to share the same voter behavior with, voted PDP, mainly after Margaret Kadawa Mako joined them. Zamfara still stuck to ANPP. But this time around, we've seen a big upset. I wasn't expecting it, and I can tell you that it came as a shock to many. But the warning was probably not taken seriously in the aftermath of the presidential election, because in the presidential election, APC lost 6 out of the 14 states, and lost the state capital. That's Gusau. And you know the bulk of the votes are in Zamfara Central. So if you lost Zamfara Central during the presidential election, that amounted to some form of alarm bells. But clearly they didn't, they were overconfident. They thought that whatever happened, they would win. But as you've seen, it was even a rout in many of the local governments, because I was looking at the voting pattern.
Yeah.
And you see Gusau, the people of Gusau had not produced the governor of the state since inception. And even when they did produce, it was taken away by the courts. Wow. So they badly wanted their son to emerge this time. And the voting suggested that Gusau delivered 64,640 to the PDP, while APC got 32,172. Then Bukuyum, the PDP got 24,000 to APC's 10,000. In Safe, Safe, very close to the state capital, just on the way to Kaduna, the PDP got 42,188 to 25,805. And then in Zurmi, PDP got 28 to 21,027. So he won 10 states, and APC won 4. So, and if you couldn't win even the most densely populated areas, and you had this deficit in terms of number of states, then the outcome is very, very predictable. Right now in Zamfara, the PDP supporters are jubilating, but destroying and looting government property in the process. It's crazy what is going on. An election has been won. Why are you destroying property? You know, like the presidential campaign office has been destroyed and looted. This is not the way to respond to victory, but that this was worsened by infighting within the
in the build-up.
It's always been there. You know, I don't think since 2019 these people forgave each other. You know that even the person who just won now, the candidate of PDP, was part of those who resisted the attempt of former governor Yari to impose on the state his own preferred candidates in the guise of what was it called? Consensus. But what the law says is that if one person, if 10 of you agree to do consensus and an individual, just one person says no, then it's no longer, that's the end. So Yari could not convince people like this Dauda Lawa, the former executive director of a major bank in our country, to agree to the choice of candidates that he had made. And that was how they got to court. APC fought against APC in court. They got a judgment at the level of appeal that allowed them to take part in the election. They won the election with a hefty margin, only for Kabir Marafa to return to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, look, if there were issues with the candidates that you have picked, then one can safely say that you did not have candidates for the election. And the Supreme Court took those candidates away and said the party that came second should form government. That was how the PDP became just board. All of the positions that they lost, they became winners suddenly, and Matawale became governor. You know?
GKB, and so you are wondering if Matawale nicked the office by grace of the Supreme Court judgment. He should have worked. It begs the question of, do politicians learn from the mistakes of one another?
He worked. To be fair, he was under tremendous pressure. Don't forget that was the epicenter of a lot of problems in the Northwest during the last 4 years. I think the problem, apart from the problem that he caused when he crossed over to APC, and then the battle started all over again, was that a lot of people in PDP thought that they won the judgment, they won the battle, but they didn't win the war. Because the governor, because of obvious Nigerian factors, decided to now go to the APC and become the party leader, which now led to all manners of rumpus across board. Because this, of course, will be a major factor why in some areas. Of course, we all know that all politics are local, and there are underlying currents of the Guzo, other areas, dichotomy, across the states. All these are factors that will come. But like Gide said, once you are given alarm bells, you are given 3 weeks to try to alter what is obviously coming. But obviously the government will not manage it in such a manner that will give them much. Because in some states, as we get to, some people are able to use that window to pull together and then win victory across the board from the defeats that they suffered by the 3 weeks.
Jide, and sometimes you wonder if politicians seeing effects from jumping ships, especially in a climate like ours.
You know, in this case, Even the people that wanted to join didn't want him. They fought him, but the leadership of the party
defected. I mean,
the leadership of the party insisted that, look, he will come in and he will be the leader of the party, because that's the tradition. Wherever you have a sitting governor, he becomes the automatic leader of the party. If in that state the party is in opposition, then the most senior person will be maybe a former governor of the state.
Okay.
That's why you had in Benue, you had someone like Akume becoming the leader of the party because the party was in opposition. So naturally, APC leader, look, this governor is in charge, and the structures of the party were in his hands. But they fought and fought, and the governor, sensing that he may not be able to win the election if he did not reconcile with these people, made big concessions before they went to the polls. Where a governor, for example, could say, look, I want 2 Senate seats.
Okay.
He was ready to concede everything. The only thing Matawale told them he was not prepared to concede was his own seat. He conceded assembly seats, he conceded Senate seats, House of Reps. He made big concessions. I can say that.
In the hope that...
In the hope that it will placate the people who were in control of the structures of the party before he's coming into the party.
Who you could say were belly aching.
People like Yari. Yari was the leader of the party before the governor came in. And Yari was effectively the leader of the APC in Zamfara, you know. So he had to make them happy. Made concessions to Marafa, made concessions to Yari. So we have a situation in which those people presented far more people, you know, than the governor. You know, in spite of all this, PDP that had never won election in the state before then, PDP that literally was non-existent in the state, suddenly, yes. People will also say that some of the, apart from even the infighting, because the infighting was so much that even during the last election, presidential election, some of them worked against the party, voted against the party, and even showed their ballot papers for them to know that, yes, we worked. You know, in the APC, I've never seen a party like APC where people do a lot of anti-party activities and they get away with it. They get away with it, you know. And these things have a way of hurting your chances. For example, if the governor of, former governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosun, had stuck with his own party, the ADC that he supported got, the ADC candidate that he supported, got more than 90,000 votes. Whereas Prince Dakwa Abiodun merely won with 13,915,000 or so. You can imagine if he had reaped all of those 90-something thousand votes, it would have been an unassailable lead. But today, the PDP is contesting that, and I'm sure they are going to call, because that's a narrow win. Narrower than even what transpired last time. Because last time it was around 20,000 or so. This time around 13,000. You know, he had his heart in his mouth. He lost his hometown to the opposition. Lost Ikene, lost Shagam. That's his base.
Because both of them are from the same.
Yes, they're both from Ikweru, and they are from Remo.
Okay.
But here was the guy flogging the governor in what was supposed to be the governor's base. You know, so...
all right, let's find out, you know. GKB, you know, the news is that the APC won in 15 states. So is it possible to look at some of the factors responsible? Let's start from good old Lagos.
Yeah. Lagos is a case study in political princemanship. Because Lagos, out of all the states in the southwest, was the only one that has remained consistently in one camp. You've never tasted any other party coming in since 1999. It's always been APC. So, if you have been doing that for 20 years, get to a point where complacency will set in, where you assume that whatever you do, you're going to win anyway.
Okay.
So
GKB, sorry, I'm told we must go on a break very shortly to sort a few things out. We'll be back. Please stay with us.
Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, is here again. This is a wonderful time to learn more about Islam and give to the cause of Allah. It's also a time when extra emphasis 03 or 0708 066 8004. You can also log on to www.tvccommunications.tv. Ramadan Kareem.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show,
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
with the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As they say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated, you have to
Don't use it, it's waste.
We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Reveal your morning with all you need to know.
Like the uncle, and die.
Yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No chief of staff, no general has the right to call a governor to order. The governor has been elected by his people.
Start your day right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast, weekdays at 7 a.m., only on TVC News.
All right, folks, sorry, but thank you for understanding. We can go back to GKB, right?
Yes.
Lagos.
Yes, I was talking about the fact that for the last 22, 23 years, Lagos is the only state in the southwest that has been consistently voting for one party.
Okay.
And so they've gotten complacent when it comes to the issue of galvanizing their base to come out. So a lot of people just assume that the party will win anyway. So it was a rude shock what happened to them 3 weeks ago. And the party went back to the drawing board. I think they held a series of meetings to ensure that they got back to the base.
Yeah.
And then they were able to increase the number of people that came out to vote. And I'm sure they have the numbers. And that reflected in the distance between what the governor got and the nearest contender for the title.
Yeah.
Because on that level, you have to understand that it's not easy. States like Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti have always moved between APC and PDP. But the shock of just assuming that there are no competitions and that your people are in your face for various other reasons becomes a problem that they have to work.
Jide, even so, the few hotspots we recorded were necessary.
Yes, and you know, my own attitude is let's have credible elections. I've fought for this since I appeared on a political program for the first time on Galaxy TV around 2007. I've fought for credible. I am still a champion for credible elections. I don't want to see vote suppression. I don't want to see it at all. I don't want to see people being stopped from getting to their polling centers. I don't want to see it. Defeat people in a healthy manner. It's a sport after all. Politics is a game. That's the way I see it. You can win election without beating up people. You can win election without suppressing votes. You can win election without threatening people that if they materialize at polling station, that they will be beaten up and all that. And it will seem that that is the new
normalization.
Yes. I mean, it makes no sense. this, many people don't even want to talk about the gubernatorial elections in our country because violence reared its ugly head tremendously during these gubernatorial elections.
Yeah.
People were beaten, people were stopped from voting.
Intimidated.
And elections, if you see the number of registration areas where elections were cancelled, where the process was cancelled, it will seem that we have just started. Incumbent governors were reluctant to lose. And what they were doing was just try to force the opposition to not have the voice, to not be able to get to polling centers. For this, you can't blame INEC. It's not
at that point, yeah.
Yes, you can't blame INEC. It is the political class. Today, I was reading about Obi Ezekwesili saying to the governors of the Southeast to behave themselves. That don't set the Southeast ablaze. As we speak now, two states of the Southeast, their results have not come in. And every other person.
Abia and Enugu.
Even those that came in, there's question mark.
You know? So beating people up is something that I oppose. Some people have been saying, oh, Jide, are you going to say you didn't see this sort of things in Lagos?
Jide, look at this. These are feeds from live pictures here.
Enugu, right? You know? So let the people, let the will of the people prevail. That is what we want to see. Let the will, let the people's vote count. You can still, they asked me the question on your view, that in Lagos, do you would have been defeated if people were not intimidated, if people were not harassed by roughnecks and all that? And of course, I said yes. I still believe that if the APC mobilized sufficiently, it will win any election here. They have the numbers.
Yeah.
And so the example that I can point at are those places where they didn't have to beat people, they didn't have to harass people, and they won. In Magodo here, nobody was beaten.
Nobody was harassed.
Nobody was harassed. And they won with impressive numbers. You know? So this is the thing. No one, we can't be happy to see people being beaten, you know, because at the end of the day, it casts
a lot of doubt.
A huge shadow on the election. On the process. Once it happens, and you know, people have a way of magnifying these things. They will give the impression that it happens everywhere.
That's it. That's it.
So let's not encourage people to take that position. But I'm worried that this governorship election, in so many places, citizens, people, we saw violence. In so many places, people will target, look at Kebbi, for example. They're going to have inconclusive elections, all because of things like this. So let's allow the will of the people to prevail. In another 4 years, another election will come. It's no big deal.
All right. We have talked so much about GKBI elections being where you have the Machiavellian spirit, you know, win by any and every means. Yeah. Okay, we'll take this break and come back from the commercial break and do some more. Please don't go away.
In terms of backward integration of key products and commodities, our policies and interventions have yielded remarkable success. In the automotive sector, we have attracted investments of about $1 billion and created capacity to produce 400,000 units of vehicles. With an eye on the future, we have also commenced initiatives to support widespread adoption of electric vehicles with the establishment of 3 solar-powered charging stations in Lagos, Sokoto, and Nsukka. Furthermore, when the draft automotive bill is passed into law, the full potential of the sector will be realized.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
4 days of Light, Wednesday 29th of March to Sunday 2nd of April 2023. Wednesday 29th of March, time 5 p.m. Thursday 30th of March, time 7 a.m. Friday 31st March, the International Night of Prophecy and Solution, time 8 p.m. till dawn. Sunday 2nd of April, Anointing and Celebration Service, time 7 a.m. Venue, Grace Nation International Headquarters, Ojodu Bega, Lagos, Nigeria. Ministering Dr. Chris Okafor. Come and experience power and mighty move of God. For inquiries, please call +234 80 29060. Jesus is Lord.
All right, welcome back. JKB, you now. Let's take us to Ogun State.
Ogun State is an interesting case in this particular election. We've already touched on it briefly about 30 minutes ago.
In passing, yeah.
Yeah. Ogun is divided into three. Of course, the Ogun West. That's the Yewa people who now got their name officially in the constitution now. You no longer call them Egbado. So that one, they've been fighting for it for about 30 years. Then the Jebu side of Ogun State, then the Abeokuta side. Former Governor Amosu seems to have a lot to in trying to install somebody from Ogun West as governor of something. It's all the same mantra that the former governor Benga Daniel also tried with GNI to make sure. But the battle mainly this time was between two Ikperu sons. The houses are about 3 minutes away from each other. Yeah. So they grew up together. They are roughly of the same age grade. So it's basically the battle of who will win at Ikperu. And the governor was, as he said, roundly defeated in his hometown. What saved the day for APC was basically a broad alliance across the three senatorial districts. Because, like we said earlier, Amosu had the candidates, Otegbeye, and he was driving the force basically from Ogun Central, where it's very strong, and parts of Ogun West. In fact, that some people won at all. About 2 people won in Ogun West that nobody thought they would win, because they thought the entire area is going to go to ADC. But APC managed to pick up 1 or 2 seats, House of Assembly seats in Ogun West, which was funny, because until Friday, everybody thought that was a no-go area.
I personally thought an Adebuto was going to cause upsets and so on.
And that's why I said the
that's what you meant by,
basically decided this election.
Okay.
That's why it's so tiny in the victory. Just 13,000. Because anything else, the team will have gone to run off.
Jide, I hear we might have to go to Enugu because our man there, Mia Akiri, has an update for us. But before we do that, take us to Kaduna.
Kaduna, during the presidential election, the PDP routed the APC. They took all the Senate seats. They won the presidential election by a very huge margin, and they also dealt with them in terms of the House of Reps count.
All right.
But
sorry,
for those who thought that we could...
Sorry, Mia is ready for us. Enugu is ready. So let's turn things over to Mia Akiri, our man in Enugu. Mia, good evening to you. Are you there?
Good evening to you, Citizen Jones.
Okay, what can you tell us?
Well, Citizen Jones, it's not the best of time for residents in Enugu. You recall that over the weekend, at least 28 states, took part in the gubernatorial election, and in the southeastern parts of the country, as we speak, we have Abia and Enugu states who have coalitions suspended by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And I must say that since on Sunday, in the coal city precisely, where I have been to monitor development in almost the local governments here, it's been protest from one end to the other. I am right now close to the State Collating Center, and we have different political parties at this point in time protesting, and what they are saying is that they want their mandate. So from what one political party is saying, declare the result, others are indeed saying that they are comfortable with the process that INEC is coming up with. But by and large, Citizen Jones, it is been a moment of protest that has rocked the coal city ever since the residents took to the polls.
Yeah, so what next? More like asking, where do we go from here?
So the people behind you, what are they saying? What do they want?
Where do we go from here, Citizen Jones? It's a bit tough at this point in time because when we take a look at what is on ground, it's different demands, from persons involved in the gubernatorial election. Because what is left at this point in time in the state is the announcement of results for them to indeed know who is the governor-elect, since the incumbent governor is term limited after serving 2 terms. And at this point in time, the residents are certain that a new man will take charge of the state affairs in the coal city. But they are not indeed too happy with the fact that at this stage there are a lot of crises. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, they need to review 2 local governments from the 17 local governments. One of them is in Kana East and also Nsukka. And we need to indeed wait the decision from INEC, who are the umpire, before we can indeed know what next can be done. But there has been some form of unrest, amongst residents at this point in time, especially from party faithfuls and also some of them the youth in this part. But then I don't want to indeed say that I have my feelings. From last night till about 12 a.m., I was around the State Collating Center and I saw how youths came out en masse in different centers to indeed protest. And if you take a look at some other states, this is how, the protest took over the negative, had negative impact in the state. So my worry is, I hope that this protest will not have any negative impact since there are different parties protesting. At the moment here, it is the People's Democratic Party faithfuls who are in the protesting, and at the other end there, you have the Labour Party faithfuls who are in the protesting. So it's all about protest.
Can you listen?
In Enugu at this stage.
Can you listen to me? The people behind you, what are they saying? What is their own demand?
So their demand is the fact that they want INEC to indeed announce the results. They are of the opinion that if all the local governments have been collated, why has the returning officer not announced results? The returning officer was of the opinion that for Nkana East, where some party agents indeed raised some allegations, in Kano East precisely, and Nsukka, where allegations were raised, there needs to be a review. But they are saying that the returning officer appealed to the party agent to allow the process to continue. And since they completed the process one way or the other, they want results announced. But I also recall that while appealing to the party agent to allow the process continue, the returning officer made mention of the fact that they come back to revisit the issue of Nkanu East and also Nsukka.
All right, thank you, Mia. If there's any development, please let us know. Thank you very kindly. All right, Judy, you were on Kaduna.
Yes. Let me say that if indeed beavers was not used in those local governments, on Nsukka and on Kano East, the law is clear. You cannot return any result from those places.
Okay.
And it's not the first time that we've had an entire local government result cancelled. So if such irregularities characterize voting in those 2 local governments, then no result shall be accepted from those local governments. So I remember that in 2015, in Rivers State, I think 6 local governments or so did not have their results included in the final tally, the presidential election. So it's not a new thing. INEC should not waste people's time. INEC should check its rule book and take a decision. The longer it takes to decide who won in Enugu, the greater the apprehension of the people, and they are feeling that there is an attempt to compromise the process.
That's it.
So they should decide on that one quickly.
Yeah, because after 24 years of unbroken democratic practice, we should have been.
We should be better than this. We should be better than this. If you do not follow the rule book, then they should throw the rule book at you. The decision will be taken. They shouldn't waste time. Then what is happening in Abia? Decide who has won the election. If there are irregularities, deal with it, and then decide who has won the election. The whole country has finished the process. Then we are waiting for 2 states. For 2 states. It makes no sense for this to continue. Talking about Kaduna, I said that the PDP dominated the presidential and National Assembly elections, won all the 3 senatorial seats, dominated the House of Reps seat, and won the presidential election with a comfortable margin. APC scored 29% of the votes. The Labour Party got 20% of the vote in Kaduna, and the PDP was the clear winner. So people expected the same pattern to continue in the governorship election. But as they say, politics is local. There are some interesting realities that we didn't see in the presidential election that we would then see. When I looked at even the pattern of voting, religion, ethnicity still plays a big part in voter behavior in our country. I looked at the result from Chikun local government, for example. More than 80,000 80,000 votes went to the PDP. That margin was so huge that you would think that the APC would never cover it. But with a good outing in places like Sabongeri local government, that's Zaria and other places, including even this place that is infested with bandits, Brenengwari, they were able to narrow the gap, and Ubasani was able to win with just about 10,000. There was complaint that, they should have gone for inconclusive election, just the way it's been decided in Adama. But the returning officer said no, that those votes cancelled were as a result of overvoting, and it affected both parties.
It's across the board. So
that at the end of the day, it amounted to about 3,000 votes. And so that is lesser than the margin of Ubasani's victory over Ashiru. So Ubasani declared winner, and they were jubilating late into the night yesterday that Ubasani, former political advisor to Governor Erufai, is now his successor.
Okay. JKB, can you take us to Benue?
Yeah, the interesting thing about Benue is the fact that long before the elections, people know that the good father will win. But I've never seen
a Reverend Father is back.
I've never seen a state that analysts like Jide and Co are so sure would go a certain way. And because the moment that the governor decided to pitch camp with a particular candidate, it became obvious that certain things are put in motion. And APC's party, the party in Benue, were very lucky about the kind of candidate he brought, because the man is almost without blemish. And at that point in time,
very popular.
Just got to the point that people are just waiting for the coronation.
It reminds me of Reverend Father Jolly Yame.
Before the
and Moses Adasu in the same Benue.
So it was really, the governor lost, by the way, as you know, last. So this one was more like an home run. In fact, the results were not surprising to me, and to most people.
All right. Jide, are you surprised at what played out in Sokoto State, for instance?
You know, in Sokoto, in the last few years, the elections are usually very close, very close. So I was surprised that that Aliu just pulled away and achieved a larger, a big margin of victory. I wasn't expecting it. I thought that would be, look at the presidential election, very, very close. Tiny margin. Just like he won, just like Tambuwa won the governorship election against this same Aliu with just 342 votes after a supplementary election. So I was thinking that, oh, this time around, whoever will win, at least the tradition of a very close contest will still be maintained. But look, it was a much easier outcome. It underlines the fact that Maga Takadawamako Seriki Yama is still very popular in Sokoto State. Is without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, the most powerful politician in the state.
All right, I hear we must go on a commercial break. We should be back. This is Journalist Hangout on TVC.
My name is Abimbola Majokudumonokoya, and I'm from Abeokuta, Ogun State. Actually, I just got here coming from United States as a frequent flyer into Nigeria. I've never been to this airport. I've kind of heard about it, but I've never seen it. So when I came out from the airport, I was kind of disoriented a little bit, like what?
I'm Comrade Derigo Ehidiame. I'm from Edo State, Nigeria. I'm coming from a trip. I've passed through so many African countries before getting to this place. When I saw Nigeria airport, I marveled.
So I just want to commend the work that's been done here. It's a beautiful place. I mean, I made quite some videos and pictures, unlike the other airport.
Kudos to the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari.
And I give it up to Buhari for giving us these beautiful airports. I hope the maintenance culture kicks in.
All right, Jide, take us to Katsina, if you quickly can.
Oh, Katsina, Katsina, PDP won the presidential election in Katsina.
Surprisingly.
Yes, it came as a shock to people, but I knew there had been problems arising from the primaries that they were trying to fix and all that. Even Ashwaju got involved trying to resolve some of these disputes. But surprisingly, it became an easier win for Diko Rada, the former boss of Smedan. Became an easier...
Omar Diko.
No, not Omar Diko. They are not even from the same state. Omar Diko was a Zaria man. So Diko Rada is the candidate Cerebra, and I think that no one will be surprised that he won in the end because he was clearly the better candidate of the two major parties. So,
okay.
They worked hard. They came together, and I remember some of my friends calling me to say, see, things are getting better. We are resolving some of these issues. So you bounce back from adversity. This is the result that you get. Adversity will come, disappointment will come, but you must respond appropriately. For the president to not be able to deliver his state was a big shame to many people, But in the end, the party bounced back. The governor in Nanga fired some of his aides who were believed to have worked against the party, So now they have a good outcome. They've reaped a good outcome from the troubleshooting that happened after losing the presidential election.
GKB, quickly, let's see if it is possible to lump the 8 PDP.
No, they're not. No, we can continue tomorrow.
Okay.
The viewers deserve better.
Nasarawa State.
Nasarawa is the governor has performed, and the way the party struck, because the problem they faced in 3 weeks ago are no longer there. I keep telling people that whatever was the force driving the election 3 weeks ago had dissipated seriously based on that reality. So I'm not really surprised about the results that came out of National and the way that it was done. But I commend Governor Abdullahi Sule. He's a very cerebral man, very articulate, and a man of his people. So again, I don't think there's much surprise that he was returned.
Yeah, Jide, my neighboring state, Cross River, was nicked too.
Again, in the you now see different voter behavior from what we saw in the presidential election. The presidential election, Labour Party took the state, but in the governorship election, Labour Party was nowhere to be found. Between the PDP and the APC. And as they say, the governor lost his senatorial election to Senator Jarigbe, who is seen as the most popular politician in Cross River at this time. But in the governorship election, Ayade bounced back and did his best to be able to install his successor. So we saw, in some cases, very close contest in the local government, and in some places, very wide margin, of victory for either party. So at the end of the day, Ayade succeeded in installing his successor. Now, people like Lely Moke, Donadu, they know that they have to prepare for the next election in 4 years. Otherwise, having successfully unseated the PDP in an election,
anything is possible.
It may just be the beginning of the hegemony of APC in that state.
All right, GKB, quickly, the neighboring Ebonyi state went to the APC. Surprise?
Governor Umahi is godlike when it comes to Ebonyi politics. I was in Ebonyi about 2 months ago, and it was extremely popular.
Okay.
But I think it's the most...
So you are not surprised?
No, I'm not surprised because I thought that the labor tsunami will have...
That's why I asked you.
Well, I keep asking people that what happened 3 weeks ago is no longer the same steam of what is happening now. These elections are more local. People now look at themselves as brothers. Before, they were trying to see what they can do for Nigeria. Now they are trying to see what they can do for themselves.
Okay.
And as far as Umahi stays on course, the way it's going to be the major player in
and don't forget, even the Labour Party took the decision to back the candidate of the APC.
Oh, really?
That's the Speaker of the House of Assembly. So the image of the governor of Ebonyi looms large over the state because of the tremendous work he's done. Despite the Labour tsunami, they took all the 3 Senate seats, and that's significant in the Southeast. For APC to take all Senate seats in a Southeast state, that's significant, It takes a very popular governor to pull that off, and that's what he's done.
Jide, quickly take us to good old Kwara.
Oh, Kwara, Kwara, just as I had predicted, went the way of the APC. The governor, remember in the presidential election, APC won all the local governments. They didn't even concede any party government. And the governor, the National Assembly election was also a clean sweep.
It was a whitewash. Yeah.
So, really? Because the people appear not to be prepared just yet to let the Bukola Saraki political family bounce back. The Otoge revolution happened, and then what we have now in Kwara is Otunya. That means let's continue. The PDP people, the Sarakis, they came up with Osuwa. But the people have shown that Koti is Suwan. Because over Suwan, they will know.
Osuwa means we are done.
We are tired. We don't tire. But if to say they don't tire, they for no vote for the APC across. And you see significantly a 26-year-old online content creator, won a woman, won a seat in the House of Assembly from Kwara Central. That's the governor's bid. Bukola and the governor are from the same locality. But in spite of that, the governor made sure that all elections in that area were won by him.
So we'll continue from tomorrow because we have some 4 or 5 states left. And of course, the PDP victories we must touch on. But then GKB became a year old yesterday, and he stepped on the 6th floor, a year older.
Okay.
Did I say a year old?
Oh,
come on. I'm looking at the balls. They say when you are 60, you play smaller balls.
Yeah, we play tennis. At 70, you play golf. 70, you play golf, like us.
Jim has been a wonderful person, and one of my favorites on this program, not because we agree all the time. Our worldviews are different, you know, but for his humanity, for being such a good person. I like him a lot, and I pray that God will cause him to see many more years in good health. He will see his children's children in a happy Nigeria. Because it's a happy Nigeria that we all desire.
That's it.
That is it. Those abusing us, they don't know that we are committed to a happy Nigeria. They may not like our methods, but that is our overriding desire. He is that kind of person.
So, GKB,
God will...
The backroom boys join me and Jide in saying a happy birthday to you.
And I thank you.
We are waiting for you on
the rest of us will get to that 6th floor by God's grace.
You have no choice.
Okay. The ugly thing about aging is we cannot they come. We they go.
I can't catch up with you, for example.
No.
Now, this one is already, the man is already...
Even you, I can't catch up with you.
Yeah.
Because you are not going to wait for me.
Nobody's waiting.
No, you will not. All right, then. So that's the show today, but it continues tomorrow. Let's all thank you for being there for us, okay? Our business is to help mold opinion based on the facts available to us. If you miss this edition, join us at 11 later tonight for a late edition. And of course, on Sunday, we have a 2-hour stretch for you from 1:30 to 3:30. Jide, thanks for coming.
Thank you, citizen.
GKB.
Always a pleasure.
Cheers, okay.
Happy post-election.
Okay. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now. Take care.
Afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. You have yourself a house.
Well, thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady. Yes, our differences extend to our languages, culture, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria of greatness a place.
For Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today.
We need